Action.
You did it right, Brian. I like when he says action. It makes me feel like this is official. Healthy holidays, guys. Start with a healthier potato kugel. This is half the fat, half the calories, half the carbs, and hubby approved. Developed by Tamar Genger. Yay! Tamar's sitting right there. We are in our kitchen. She is a registered dietitian. I got that right. She has a master's in health studies, but don't freak out because this is based on my classic potato kugel. Now, my potato kugel is like the #1, right, Tamar? It's like our #1 recipe of all time. The #1 recipe of all time on our site, jamiegeller.com. Over 850,000 views, likes, comments, shares. So all the tips and tricks I taught you with my classic potato kugel, we've just reinvented for our new healthy meal plan, freshfamilies.us. Glass is everything. This is the tip. If you take nothing else away from this cooking video, it better be that you're making your potato kugel in glass. That's how you get that coveted all-around crunch. I'm using an 8-inch square because I love a big, thick potato kugel. You can also use an 8 or 9-inch round. So what we want to do here is we want to grease this glass baking dish. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. I always use a good quality olive oil. Cola Vita. I use it almost exclusively in all of my cooking and baking, and it's another secret to my amazing tasting potato kugel. Okay, so using your hands, the best tool any chef has. So this makes sure that we'll be able to keep all that crunchy, crusty exterior when we scoop it out of the pan. We are full on chasing that coveted crunch. Tip 1 is using glass. Tip 2 is warming this in the oven, so that when we go to pour in our potato kugel mixture, it already starts to cook, and that's how we get that golden exterior. We're gonna put this into the oven, preheat it to 425 degrees. This way your oven is ready and your baking dish is ready at the same time. 1/4 cup of olive oil going in here. And we're gonna heat it on a low flame. Now we've got 3 eggs here in a large bowl. Come down in here, Brian, so you can see this. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now my grandfather always used white pepper. I think of him every time I'm putting in my black pepper. I just never have it in the house, but if you have it, go for it. All right, now we whisk. Just breaking up the yolks, incorporating the salt and pepper. 1, 2, 3, and we're done. All right, now we get everything into our food processor, starting with our onions. This is the secret ingredient, 1.5 pounds of cauliflower. This is where you get half the carbs from. This is the cheat here. You can use fresh, or I'm using 1.5 pounds of frozen thawed cauli. Now potatoes. Notice I'm doing the potatoes last because they oxidize. So we really want to work quickly. My regular recipe calls for 6 large potatoes. We're using 3 today, equivalent to 1.5 pounds. You can use Idaho, you can use the thin red skinned or the thin white skin. I like these because you can scrub them well, keep the skin on, no need to peel, it makes my life easier. Of course you can use a shoestring blade to shred the potatoes. Either do this on the side of a box grater or with the right blade for the food processor, and you can shred the onions, cauliflower, and potatoes if you like that consistency. But I've already shown you 2 videos with that blade, so I wanted to show you this classic pudding-like consistency, just like how my grandparents and my father make potato kugel. All right, look at this nice and creamy potato kugel. Look at this nice and creamy potato kugel. Okay, so remember I said we move nice and fast once the potatoes have been cut into. Like I said, this is like that classic kind of pudding consistency. Okay, you see this, Brian? You're in here. We're giving this a nice little mix. Okay, and then we're gonna take our hot oil, and that's that other super secret tip to why my potato kugel is so amazing and so famous. And I think after this, we're gonna have like well over 1 million hits, okay? Okay, 425, 1 hour. All right, this baby walks the walk and talks the talk. It looks exactly like that classic potato kugel that my grandfather used to make, that my father makes. thick and golden brown. The top, the sides, and the bottom are super crunchy. The hard part here is that you've got to wait 20 to 30 minutes to let this thing cool so you don't burn your mouth. I can't say we follow that rule in our house. We like eat it while it's hot, like, you know what that's like when your like mouth is burning while you're talking. So I'm gonna give it a minute or two to let it cool, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like on a plate. This is gonna be the new #1 recipe on jamiegeller.com. So just like I promised, thick and white and pillowy and creamy in the center, nice and golden, crunchy brown on top. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Oh my gosh. Everything about this is so right. Seriously, I can't tell you. I've made like 3, 4 of these. Take a poll, see if anyone can figure it out. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love it. Happy holidays, guys. Were you rolling just now?
Yeah, and action, take 2.